and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The race starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's right. It's Tuesday night, time for the Midwest Motorsports Road Series to get underway. I'm James J., joined by Adam Sondag tonight. We're at the Spa-Francorchamps 4.5-mile track in Belgium. Everybody's favorite road course. The very tricky corners. Tonight, it hosts the endurance race of the Road Series. GT3, GT4 mixed class. Adam, they're coming down towards the final chicane. What do you think we're going to see tonight? Thanks for joining me. Let's have a good time.
Yeah, we're going to see this new tire model on the GT3s, so we will see how that works. I think that it should be better for our drivers because the tires, I believe, come in a little more realistically now than the previous tire model that was fairly unforgiving. If you spin the tires out of the pit box or get a big slide or a moment, it really took a long time for the temperature to come down in the tires. But that said, drivers have only had 1 week to test this new update, so we will see how that goes. This is an endurance, so things will be different and people will be finding things out potentially by the end of this race that they may not have known. But look for, on those first couple laps on new tires, people to be figuring out just exactly how much they can push or not push with this new model.
Congratulations to Justin Flagg in the McLaren, who starts the GT3s. And we're underway for the 100-minute endurance race. The mixed class Midwest Motorsports race is underway. Everybody's making it through La Source. Oh, I said that too soon. We got a spinner. Looks like one of the work crews.
Like Greg. He'll be able to get back around and going, but that'll be, again, it's an endurance race, so there is time to make those positions back up, but you prefer not to have to do it immediately.
GT4s make their start as well. Split start.
See the kitty litter from Greg.
Side by side into Eau Rouge on lap 1 for Justin Thaler. Justin Flagg back up front in the McLaren
CJ
domination.
Off to the far right just a little bit.
Fighting for 8th place. Jason Phillips actually in 5th. And we got great racing all throughout. Kind of settling in.
I was going to say, how did Zach get such a nice lead, but just at the little bit to render the cars there. Nick Aslan trying to look up the inside. Zach newly married, so if you were hoping to lock Zach down, you're about a week late on that one. So congrats to Zach and the wife. Zach didn't get as much practice this week, but doesn't appear to have mattered. Him and his Roxy have really been locked in.
Congratulations, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the image of Nick Aslan's McLaren is burned into the rear view camera, like if you leave Mario on for too long.
Exactly where I was going. These are this is the battle for the GT4 championship continues on.
Justin Thaler in there.
Jason Wahlberg side by side into the chicane. Great job of driving there.
Brian Coxon making a manufacturer change to the McLaren from the Ferrari. So back where we know Brian in a McLaren.
Another manufacturer change of note is Jesse Coffey makes the move to Ford Mustang in the dark horse, joining Justin Thaler. And it looks like, unless my timing and scoring is wrong, Justin Thaler and Michael Odell having issues on lap 1. Jesse Coffey in the warp paint already. on the Mustang paint. Zach Alexander, the GT4s having issues as well, dropping down to 4th as Dan Gish takes over the lead of the GT4s.
Wow, so yeah, something happened there. Not sure if Justin was involved trying to get through that traffic. We see some guys dipping into the side again. Try one more time to get that.
That's at the top of the track, at the end of the Camel Straight. Going back here now, is that? There we go, there's Zach. And yeah, he's dropped back only a couple of spots. So he must have had just a slide off that made him lose.
Yeah, the car doesn't look too bad.
Regained. That's good. That's good. He can recover from this.
Yeah, we've seen him do it before. I joked before the race that since he didn't get some practice, he might have an issue early on and then just have a confident rest of the hour and 40-minute race and work his way up. And so he's had that incident already here within the first couple laps, and now we'll get set to working his way back. Meanwhile, Nick Aslan will be working clean air in that McLaren. That car should like this track with those high RPMs down these long straights, so it should be able to wind that car up, especially with nobody in front of him. So we'll see if he's able to stake some ground and get some air there. So meanwhile, oh, this looks like James is off track a little bit. That might allow Zach through. Yeah, it will.
Zach gets one of those spots back. No, just him dropping off. Maybe Zach just went out wide, ended up in the sand trap for a minute or off track, regained position on the track. And Zach can recover from this. I don't think Justin Thaler or Michael Odell are going to be very happy. All good. Back to the front.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Michael Odell even started.
Okay. Thank you for that, Adam.
Jack Lucas getting some cookies.
You can count the number of spots he's lost. Oh, Chips Ahoy. Losing ground to Justin Flagg. 2 seconds already. Those first couple of laps are through. The tires should be up to temperature now.
The top 5 is 4 McLarens right now in the GT3 class. You don't typically see, with the balance of power, any sort of too much dominance on one track. It happens every now and again. It's just getting used to these tires as everybody's coming in new to this tire model. So people are going a little bit wide, but we haven't seen any slides that really got out of control yet.
Going to maximize the lap time using all of the track. Brian Coxon trying to figure out the new manufacturer coming up on Sheila Hogan. I hope I'm saying your name a little better now, at least the first name. In the Flying Lizard Corvette, they go through the final chicane. Oh, getting sideways is Brian. Jason Wahlberg, side by side.
Yeah, going to be able to get around Shea. No, oh, Shea will cut up to the inside, at least show the nose, make him think about it. A little early in the endurance race to to really try to be aggressive on that, but Shea going to make him think about it.
Not used to seeing Shea back in 13th place. Maybe the Porsche not suiting the driving style or the track combination.
I mean, again, the cars are handling different with this new tire model. I mean, that really fundamentally changes a lot about the physics of these cars and how they handle my understanding thus far is the tires are coming into temperature range a lot more realistically. Michael O'Dell. Oh, Jesus, Shea really
Oh, Shay,
gets off there.
body work.
So that'll
He's going
be,
back to the pits.
yeah, that car's going to be getting some repairs. That might be a terminal.
Oregon
see.
State baseball in the World Series, maybe heading into Shay's practice time this week. Steve Hansel in the Porsche with the new paint tonight, silver and black. Looks good. Racing Justin Glickner
Looks like
up ahead and holding off CJ.
Almost like naval camouflage. Lots of tire dipping. But again, with that much tire dipping, still, I think you would have seen a week ago or 2 weeks ago a lot more loss of control on that.
Flying Lizard Corvette looking very racy. Shell Hogan on CJ Barzak. CJ lets him go. Great driving there. Acura, CJ Barzak. Corvette, Shell Hogan.
CJ with a
Now
little
CJ's
slide on the rear end, getting on power on top of the curbs.
Brian Coxon now on a charge, going to get a good slipstream. We can get through Eau Rouge okay. And the GT4s, I think that's Dan Gish.
Yeah, Dan Gish getting around James, I believe.
Nice move. Here goes Brian down the Kimmel Straight. And CJ also. Shell has to play defense. Great shot coming right into your living room. Justin Glickner, Steve Hansel first, and then Shell's side by side for Brian Coxon. CJ drops the spot. Brian gets the spot back. Great racing at Spa in the GT3s. 20 corner Spa track, 4.5 miles.
Yeah, you notice
Really feel like you're going somewhere.
Just about everybody's getting a little deep on the exit there. Really, I mean, all of these. I mean, it just seems like everybody's getting a little deeper than they intend to. Not sure if maybe the extra grip from the update to the tire model has people braking a little later maybe than they would normally, trying to push to see how far they can get, but probably see that rein in a little bit as the race goes on, as we see admin on admin violence.
What
Steve
a move.
with a nice clean pass.
Looking left, looking right. Steve Hansel puts the smackdown on Justin Glickner. Can Justin get it back on the long straight?
I think Steve looks like he's ready to run. He looked in his mirror and saw Shell, and he said, tossed in Justin like a steak to a lion. Not Steve's problem anymore.
I saw Steve spin there earlier in practice. So good to see he got that figured out in Shell. Gets the spot. Playing defense on Brian Coxon. Brian Coxon looking very racy. Also rooting for the Oregon State baseball team. Looks like he got some practice in. Fighting for 8th place.
Yeah, I think luckily this is one most people know very well. If you're into sports car racing or F1 at all, you are very familiar with this circuit. So luckily, if you didn't get enough time in the simulator, you're probably still pretty familiar.
Brian Coxon with one more chance. Now on Shell. Looks inside at the last minute. On the brakes hard, too wide. Still holding him off.
Inside, outside, back
Still
on the
too
inside.
This is the Midwest Motorsports Road Series that we know. Super clean racing. Fighting hard for every spot. Well earned. Guys are up 5 places from their starting spot. Steve Hansel
No.
on a GT4. In the way, that
Pablo-
wasn't Steve. That was
Pablo just
Pablo
a little-
Araya.
Yeah. Pablo just a little deeper than he thought on Nick Moffitt. Nick should be okay. Going to lose that position. A little bit of ground, but
David Wortman trying to hold off Denny Locke. This is the battle for 9th place, just behind Pablo. Through Eau Rouge and Radion.
David making out like a bandit with Wart Racing royalties.
Cash that check. Looked inside, decided not this time on Pablo. Back to the GT3s. Line is starting for now. We're expecting maybe 4 pit stops on the GT3s and at least 2 for the GT4s.
Yeah, I really don't know what people will do with changing tires in the GT3. I don't know if the impact on wear over a really long stint like this and you know, or how much anybody has really tested that out on their own end. So be curious to see what people do. I think that you could see some significant variance in how people handle their pit stops here tonight.
Blinking Brian Coxon side by side with Shell and the Flying Lizard Corvette once again. Deja vu. We've seen this before.
This time
Brian
he's doing
Coxon
it.
looks like he's going to complete the pass. Still has CJ Barzak right behind, so Shell used to watch his back.
I think that time Brian realized he needed to hold Shell in just a little tighter on exit so he didn't get the speed. And I think that's what allowed him to get ahead there to maintain that benefit of being inside on the next 2 turns.
Great eyes.
So good learning there. One of the nice things about the endurance races is you've got plenty of time to see see where you could make a move and then think about it for a lap or 2.
Keegan Bahari looking up at John Daniels' Ferrari. Congrats to Ferrari for the 24 Hours of Le Mans win in the hypercar class.
Yeah, that car was dominant.
Keegan going really wide. Brian Coxon on Justin Glickner now. He's left Shell Hagen behind. Now Brian with the big slipstream.
Brian's up 10
Brian on the
spots,
10.
now 11.
Outside. Glickner was very generous there to break early and let Brian take the spot. Now he has to defend from Shell, but Brian Coxon up 11 from the starting spot.
I think
On a
right
mission.
there, Justin's paying Steve back, saying, well, if you want to give me Shell, you can have Brian.
Nice.
Can see the spread there. Just about to have Justin Flagg at the back of the GT4 field with the track this long. It's taken almost 20 minutes to get there. It's been fun to see with this car pairing the differences in the track lengths and the traffic playing a factor in the race.
Justin Flagg pulled away 4 seconds now. Showing why he would put it on the pole. Fastest car on the track.
He's looked really fast since he's joined. huge difference in speed and velocity through this section between these two classes of cars.
Starting to get in more traffic now. Justin Flagg with the purple lap is going to be the first one to get into the race. Higher up in the field of GT4s, each one's going to be a little bit more difficult to pass as he comes up on Michael Chuck, the Aston Martin. Christopher Hopper next on his list. Is Hopper and the McLaren doing a good job in 13th in the GT4s. Huge field tonight. 19 GT4s, 21 GT3s. BMW with Aaron Mitchell is next on Justin Flagg's list.
We've got some pit stops on the GT3s. Jesse Coffey, Justin Kleckner, and Shell.
Shell. Oh, Shell had to back up. That's going to cost him a little bit, missing his box. I am curious to see if anybody changes tires.
Right now, Jesse and Shell are on jacks, so not sure if they're taking, I assume maybe fronts. So we'll see. We'll see if Justin Thaler now in, see if he takes any.
As well on the tire warm-up, the tire model, Justin looks like he's trying to save some time by not taking tires.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really, we've seen that play a factor in the races already. Johan, by not taking tires, has been able to get back into fights much more quickly, when overcuts or undercuts are beneficial. Especially we saw him on that overcut, not take tires, come out and immediately on his outlap be able to battle for position for the lead. So I think the cerebral nature of the GT3 field is getting deeper as we progress.
Right. Another layer in the onion of the strategy possibilities.
The driver learning model.
For sure. Again, the outlaps are going to be crucial on those cold tires, with it taking 2 full laps to complete the tire warm-up. Every time you stop, you have to remember to mind your P's and Q's, as some guys found out on lap 1 on both classes. Great battle here, Jack Lucas. This is the front of the GT3s. Are they going to pit this time? No, 2 laps to overcut. Wow. Let's go. Working through the GT4 field, getting closer to the top. Flag comes in. He's going to cover. Jason Phillips also comes in. The great pleasure of meeting Jason at the car show this week.
Yeah,
Super
jealous
cool
of
dude.
that. Yeah.
Super nice guy. Offered to buy me drinks.
Take him up?
Nah, we're just hanging out. I was driving home anyway, so I don't want to take any chances. They're about a 45-minute drive. More Kimmel Straight action as Jack Lucas assumes the lead of the GT3s. With Mauricio Parada.
Utilize your driver lineup. If you're having a drink, be sure to switch out to one of your other teammates.
That's right.
That's right. Be they bronze, silver, platinum, or otherwise.
Watch the driving limits. Drive time limits. GT4's Nicholas Moffitt, after spinning, looking up.
Right back to where he started now after that move. Denny just a little deeper than he intended to there.
Great job for Nick Moffitt.
The original work that he'd done still to be regained. Wort Race Team Parade.
Travis Rowe, Keegan Bahari, with Shell right behind.
Lots of debris there. It seems they're getting local cautions based on that much debris.
Yep.
You can see all the marbles picking up on the outside of that turn, so you don't want to be over there.
Glickner, Rowe, Bahari, Shell, Hagen, and Jesse Coffey all together. It was a great race. More GT4 action. Troy Nissen.
As these two battle down past start finish, Jack Lucas and Mauricio Prada come in. Brian Coxon will not inherit the lead. He's going to come in as well. See if John Daniels comes in. He does. So Brian Coxon and John Daniels are Jason Wahlberg. Coxon and Daniels, I think more than anybody, seem to favor the overcut. So Jason Geyer as well. Quite a few guys going longer here, but there goes Justin Flagg.
Even. Right back to the front.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a decent. He's going to have a decent gap over these cars once he gets through there.
He was working a 4-second lead before the pit stop.
Yeah, by the time Jack Lucas gets out, it might be 6 or 7. Comes Jack.
And he's still in the tire warm-up period. Going right, Flag sends his lead over 5 seconds.
Got a new paint for Jason. Can't tell what whiskey that is on the front. But he's up 2 spots. Brian Coxon now up 12. Thus far, we've lost the number 26 of Shea McNeely. That wreck was terminal. I'm not sure Michael Odell even started. He didn't log a lap time. Dan Gish and CJ Barzak also retiring. So we've lost 3 of the GT3s, at least 2 of which who started. So Spa claiming some victims. Attrition at the Ardennes. Oh, Aaron Mitchell off there ahead of Brian, able to gather it back in. Brian will dive to the inside. Steve right behind him. Gonna have to split. Nice split from Steve there. Probably a little, a little more hairy than he would have liked.
Good job linking the lights.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do good to keep up with Brian Coxon, though, and follow Brian
Absolutely.
on Brian Coxon's move through the field.
Absolutely.
We'll say with this new tire model, just real quickly on Brian Coxon's qualifying, he's up 10 spots. He may have been faster, but with the tire model, working the 3rd lap in only 10 minutes, at a long track like this, you only get really 1, maybe 2 hot laps with warm tires. And if you have any problem on your hot lap, you're really going to pay for it with your cold tire warm-up being the qualifying lap that counts. Battle for second. Overall, Mauricio Prada has taken over from Jack Lucas. Tips Ahoy machine. Up a spot for now. We'll keep an eye on this. As again, McLaren domination. The top 3, Jason Phillips breaks that up in the Acura. He's 10 seconds behind the leader. Dale Egan, Travis Rowe, side by side. Oh, we got a spinner right in front of him. That was Justin Glickner.
Oh,
Goes
no.
off in the S's. Yep.
That car is not happy. It looks like it's tracking okay. Might be some vibration on the front wheel.
Wheel looks straight.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. The wall is also hard, so might be able to keep that car going without too much trouble.
Jack Lucas wants the spot back. Deeper back this 6-car train. Jesse Coffey in the middle of this battle as well.
Yeah, Greg
Travis
worked
Rowe.
way back up after spinning at turn 1.
Greg Conaway moves up to P9. Or does he? Oh! As Travis drops back. Oh! Continuing. This battle is awesome. Keegan Bahari, Greg Conaway side by side through the chicane. How is that possible? Travis Rowe, Joel Hogan right behind him, also side by side. Greg Conaway, after some contact, keeps the spot, lights him up on the exit. He still stays ahead. Keegan Bahari getting a bump draft from Greg Conaway. The lift's going through Eau Rouge, I hope. The brake contact now. In the slipstream, can Greg Conaway keep his momentum up? It can't be full throttle in the GT3 through Eau Rouge. With GT4 traffic up ahead, Keegan plays it smooth. In the middle, 3 wide. Shell getting it sideways. Oh, and there goes Travis. That's unfortunate. Oh, that's Jesse getting sideways. Really hard with GT4 traffic now trying to rejoin. There goes Taylor. That's not going to make him happy. That Hopper?
Yeah, they put Hopper in a bad spot there. Just a little excited with all that wrapping, with all, or not all that close racing.
Oh, hard to put blame anywhere on that. There's fight for position early in the race. Hopper doing the best he can. I'm sure he feels guilty, but I don't think there's anything Christopher Hopper could have done different.
Yeah, I think there's an hour and 10 minutes left. That's probably not going to be the place where you make or break your race.
Risk reward, they'll pay for that.
This pack has been together for 30 minutes, so.
Yep. 2 pit stops at least to come. Maybe 3 pit stops from now. Justin Taylor working his way back through the field after a bad start. Currently P14 trying to move up on Jason Geyer in the Porsche just ahead.
The Gleckner machine is at an aerodynamic disadvantage, to say the least.
So Justin and Justin do get back together, even after a bad start by Justin. Justin with some body work missing, and now Justin trying to pass Justin. Let's see if Justin can hold him off. Inside, coming through, Kronborn.
Bump him off, wow.
That's right.
Who needs enemies when
Jason
you've got
Geyer.
friends like Justin Thaler?
That's right. So you can't pass Christopher Hopper without making contact. All good. Good job. Back to the GT4 battle. Michael Harris. The BMW. John Aslan in the Napa machine right behind.
These two hassle each other on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Looks like the Oval guys have figured out Eau Rouge. Awesome job holding 12th. Ben Wall in the Porsche pulls over, tries to play defense. Lets Michael Harris and John Aslan go. Welcome to Midwest Motorsports, Ben. Taking it, letting the guys go by easily.
The Blonde album, I guess. Oh, getting back by John.
Much respect in the GT4 league.
Couple GT4s in the pits. Denny Locke and Aaron Mitchell. So that'll be about 30 minutes, so that makes sense now. A couple of GT4s have pitted. Roncabilte's Pablo Araya, the furthest up the field of those. Zach Alexander continuing to march on.
Dominate. Zach Alexander dropping back. Was a little off earlier in the race. Now made his way back to the front, like Robert Sanders says on YouTube. What's up, Robert? Good to see you. Zach Alexander dominating the GT4s. Almost 4 seconds now ahead of Nick Aston. You can see him in the white McLaren just behind. Zach Alexander taking Rexy to the front. Roxy, I keep getting that wrong. Oh no.
Yeah, wrong.
Ooh, big spin cycle. It says the power on section before the long Blanchimont.
Oh.
2 wheels off. Yeah, he went through the curb on that.
Yeah, it looked like that started with some hitting a bump and sort of just unsettling the car.
No lift. Oh, GT3s.
Jack just deep. A little wiggle on the brakes.
Great
Gonna
save.
lose touch with Mauricio. That's gonna bring Jason Phillips right in. Brian Coxon might not be too far behind. Justin Flagg has just broken out of the GT4 traffic.
11 seconds up the road. Like Glickner did not do any repairs.
He hasn't been in since lap 8, so he's gonna wait to do that until the next stop. So I guess that makes sense. Try not to eat it, and figured, the loss in speed and pace probably not as punishing as the amount of time to come down pit lane, make that repair.
P8, 9. Yeah, good point. Sorry, I would have thought the damage would have done more, had a bigger effect. Justin Glickner says everything's all right. Stay out. This is 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Luckily, those rear engine cars you can push into the wall, and as long as you don't mess up the steering, you're at least not damaging your radiator and your engine. So
yeah, keep it going. Can Keegan make a move on Greg Conaway? Not yet. But good recovery by Greg Conaway after qualifying 4th, spinning on lap 1, dropping to the field, and made his way back to P8. Next on his list, 3 seconds up the road, John Daniels. If he can hold off Keegan Bahar, he's got 1 hour and 2 minutes to do it.
About 4 or 5 laps away from pit stops again for the GT3s.
A couple guys went 10 laps. Mauricio trying to hold off Jack Lucas. There's slight error on Jack. These guys cranking out consistent lap after consistent lap, 3 seconds slower than their fast lap. Meanwhile, Justin Flagg just sets a new purple Well, not new. Just went across the line. 219.
Yeah,
They're at 220
218.8, 218.9 for Justin. Looks like Justin Flagg, the next best lap is Jack Lucas at a 219.17. So pretty good pace to be almost 2/10 quicker than the next closest car. So Justin Flagg really putting down some speed.
Got to be hair raising going through Eau Rouge with GT4s in your line, racing line. Here we go back to Shell and Jason Wahlberg. Here it is with the GT4 right in the middle, just came at the wrong time for Flagg. That's going to really, our Wahlberg, going to really hurt his run down, as you can see. Continues to drop back 1.9, almost 2 seconds back now. Can Shell make a move on Keegan? Not yet. Not this lap, but he's staying right there with him. Greg Conway's pulled out just over a second. The purple McLaren up ahead. Oh, Keegan goes off. That's going to put Shell right back in his bumper.
A little bit of rally action, and then he's going to go wide into the marbles.
Marbles on his tires, trying to add some more to it. And Shell gets by. Can Shell make it an attack now? They head up on Puhan, my favorite corner of the track in any car, especially in a GT3. Takes real discipline.
The drive-throughs for incident points starting to roll through for the GT4 field.
That's
it's like
early.
The 47, the 97, and the 78 have all had drive-throughs already. That's 40 minutes in.
Gaviltas, Michael Harris.
So they'll need to be on their best behavior for the rest of the way, but it looks like all three of them have been in a wreck together potentially in the past little bit. So race control might want to keep them separated. Brian Coxon slowly working up into this group. Chattanooga whiskey, it looks like Jason Phillips is representing.
His hometown.
Nick Moffitt up 3 spots. David Wortman up 11 spots. Only one stop so far for the GT4 field. About a 25-30 minute window for them, so still be a little bit before we see that again. Won't be too long here before we start seeing GT3s hit the pit lane. With trying to go for the overcut here, the length of the track might be a punishment at this point early in the race, because you're going to have that much more fuel to fill on the overcut, going further and burning more fuel by going an extra lap or two versus somebody who went under. We saw Justin Flagg went earlier than Mauricio Prada. Jason Phillips going in. But with the 4 mile length here, that amount of fuel fill will be some time. That's material. Justin just looking smooth here. Currently at almost a 15-second gap to Jack Lucas. Jack and Mauricio in the same equipment. It is the same setup. It's fixed setup for all drivers here, so this is down to pace and execution.
Awesome work. Looks like Brian Coxon has caught this group. Mauricio giving Hopper a little space. This time by. And Brian Coxon makes it through as well. So
Yeah,
Brian
Jason
Coxon moving up.
Jason coming back out in 9th position.
Nine-lap stints for Jason Phillips.
Looks like we lost another GT4. Looks like the GT4 of Denny Locke is retired. So we now have 1 through 4 McLarens in the GT3 field.
Three-way McLaren battle here. Best of the rest of the McLarens. Coxon on Mauricio Parada. They make a deep break. GT4 traffic up ahead. And Jack Lucas. That is the Mauricio. No,
That'll be Kevin Bridges. Or Rick Bundren? Yeah. No, that's Rick Bundren there.
Thanks, Rick.
Be Kevin Bridges that they just made it past.
Nice job letting them go. Brian Coxon loses a little ground going through that GT4 traffic, but oh. Still 54 minutes plus to go.
Actually, that was Skylar Wingfield just joining us tonight. So, brand new member from already in What Apex Race Team. So,
yeah. Sign-ups are always open, I guess, for the Wart team.
Yeah,
as well as
usually you have
Midwest
to.
Motorsports.
Yeah,
You might maybe brought over from Jesse's stream. You know, Jesse's got a lot of followers on his stream. We appreciate all the new members coming over, joining the Wart crew.
I might have to go check my file cabinet and see if I don't have a registration card for One Apex Race Team.
You didn't get yours? I got mine.
You do, yeah. Make sure to pay your dues.
That's right.
So you can have an active What Apex Race Team membership. The discounts are incredible. Hotels,
you get tagged with a Travis Rowe Walrus on your paint as well. Travis does a great job with his paints. Just different enough to let us tell the difference between them, but similar enough to know. Perfect example right there. Keegan Bahari on Travis Rowe. Travis is the only one in the BMW that I know that has some green, the light green, almost yellow, and yellow. Looks great though. There's the Walrus right above What Apex Racing Team logo, looking awesome. Brian Coxon's got around Mauricio as they all come into the pits. That was on pit entry. All good. We'll keep trying. We're gonna send a message to SDK, see if they can get their stuff together. Yeah, they come out of the pits. Here, John Daniels, the Ferrari, takes over the lead. being able to stay out. He
Yeah,
starts his 20th lap.
John and Jason both went 10 laps before pitting. So they'll try to push again, but right now it's only a 5-second gap from John back to Justin Flagg.
I like the strategy though. If you're doing a little bit of fuel saving, maybe lift and coast a little throughout the 100 minutes, if you can do that enough and save a stop or do a really short fuel fill just for a splash at the end and make up for whatever you lost on that final stop. Long drive through pit road here. Jason Phillips and Brian Coxon coming up on Hopper. And
Jack up
Jason
there.
is on him. Yep.
A little gravel expedition. Jack
Great
and
job by
Brian
Wortman again.
just coming out of the pits, so Jason Phillips with the undercut.
He's on him. You're right about that gravel on the road, though, and those S's, and that chicane.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, when you're seeing, when we're seeing those drive-throughs coming through, that's where they're coming from. You can play in the sandbox, but eventually race control is going to call you in. Jack's been lucky to have the people behind him continually fighting each other. Jason just put enough pressure on that Brian needs to account for that.
Big gain on under braking there.
But now Mauricio is, sort of lost touch with Jack. So Mauricio and Jack were hand in hand, side by side for so much of the race. After that pit cycle, Brian Coxon and Jason Phillips in between and plenty of tarmac. So he's going to have
crazy how that works.
Battle. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when you're following somebody that's as fast as you are, then you can really keep pace. But when you get on your own, your pace starts to drop. You don't have that the carrot dangling in front of you, kind of lose touch. And I think that's what's happening.
Bubba James Stewart loves to talk on the motocross broadcasts about having a toe to the driver, to the rider in front of you. And, you're not really getting an aerodynamic effect in motocross. It's mostly psychological to have somebody to chase and keep focused on. And I know, on Sunday in Mexico City, Shane Van Gisbergen said, a similar thing where they were trying to get him to slow down and save the car and the fuel and the tires a little bit. And he was like, if I let up, I'm going to lose my focus. And I think that having that car in front of you to stay in with, that really keeps you locked in. You don't notice how long the race is until you start getting out on your own and getting a little bored and looking at the clock and realizing the time it is and, how long till your next stop or whatever that is. You kind of lose that edge. Yeah.
Yep.
So, it might, you will get a tow on this track just with the speed and the long straights here. You do want to be close, but that psychological impact is definitely there.
I think Kimi said it best, leave me alone. I know what I'm doing.
You can't take the car to heaven with you.
That's right. Looks like
these McLarens really are hooking up on this track. They just look so smooth.
And it showed in qualifying 1 through 3 for sure. And Michael Harris joins us on the stream. What's up, Michael? Sorry about your luck. You look good out there as much as you could, but there is an incidence limit. Hit it a little early this time. Michael will keep going, working on your practicing your GT4 practice. There is a new coaching thread on the Discord, which I think is pretty awesome that everybody's volunteering their time, helping each other out, learning to get faster together as a group. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, lots of great work from those guys. I know CJ made a couple video track guides with different cars in the GT4 field on how to drive things. Chase is available. I believe Shay as well. Michael Odell, that's correct. Yeah, so really great to see that effort come through. It's not something that goes unappreciated, you know, knowing that that's a big reason why people have really brought a lot of improvement. Zach Alexander has said it, but it's been noticeable that, you know, he spent a lot of time talking to this group that's doing the coaching, and you can see here, I mean, the results speak for themselves. I mean, he's almost 14 seconds up the road from Nick Aslan, who's a pretty good driver. So if you have questions, make sure you send them to the team. Watch those videos. If you're out there just watching YouTube, join the league, and you, like Zach Alexander, can pick up some tips pretty quick. These guys know a lot of information about how to drive these cars on this simulator. It is not something you can just figure out on your own. You do need people that are better than you to give you insights and information and help you see things you can't see. Don't bang your head against the wall. So get in there and learn something.
Jason Phillips. Losing touch with Jack Lucas there. I thought he was closer last time. All good.
Yeah, the official coach roster of the Midwest University: Chase Fincher, Travis Rowe, Shay McNeely, Jameel Gummer, Michael Odell, and CJ Barzak. So lots of experience there, both in the simulator and in the real world. So
Jason Phillips headed toward Eau Rouge, GT4 traffic just up the road. Jason Wahlberg with Jesse Coffey. Jesse Coffey didn't waste any time getting a new wrap on that Dark Horse Mustang. Can Wahlberg make the slipstream pass? Wahlberg in the Acura, Jesse Coffey in the Dark Horse Mustang.
That Mustang will plow some air. Reminiscent of the Garage 56 Camaro.
Yeah. And Jason pop out under braking. Not this time. Not quite close enough. Nice patience being shown.
Jason about 2 laps after pit stop. Jesse last stopped on lap 18, so about 5 laps.
Wahlberg waiting for his tires to come up. The temp, they should be much closer now.
Unfortunately, sounds like the 78 of Skylar Wingfield will be parked by race control for the rest of this race. So this track is known, I think, pretty well by a lot of drivers, but keeping yourself in the limits and trying to push over this period can be really hard. Not sure if anybody is running a 0. Maybe Zach Alexander. No, I thought Zach had an incident. So, as far as I know, Justin Flagg and Brian Coxon have not had off tracks. Same for Justin Thaler. So we'll see at the end of the race if anybody's able to keep clean through this entire hour and 40-minute run.
Domination by Zach Alexander.
Yeah, I think he had
10
an off track just a moment ago, but with the 14-second gap, didn't lose too terrible much. Still has 11 and a half seconds back to Nick Aslin as Justin Flagg wraps around him. You can see the difference in speed there. Justin Flagg going 162, Nick Aslin in the GT4 McLaren going 146.
0.3 of a second faster than anybody else on the track. Justin Flagg, speaking of domination.
Jason Wahlberg continues to chase.
Closest battle for position on the track.
They've got Keegan Bahari up ahead. Troy Nissen in between.
We go in car with Wahlberg. GT4 up the road. 40, great patience once again. Jason Wahlberg. And managing traffic got to be a challenge and a skill set on its own. I wonder if they have any tips on that and the driver tips.
Yeah, I think something we've seen from Jason Wahlberg is just you don't see Jason forcing moves that compromise and take big risks. I think that's part of why Jason Wahlberg's been able to be consistent is things like that of knowing that he can set up to get a better exit on the inside and not run as wide and get that move done on the GT4, instead of trying to slam it in there and get around the outside. So patience definitely pays off. There's 40 minutes to go. Even if you don't have the pace, the cars in front of you can get in an incident. Field starting to get a little bit spread out here. Justin Flagg just making it around Zach Alexander. We'll have clean air. Nobody in the GT3 field wants to see that. Justin Flagg with perfectly clean track to go and run. Greg Conaway now catching up to the tail of Steve Hansel. Steve has remained planted in the top 10 all race. Greg on a recovery drive after spinning in turn 1 on the opening lap. Down 3 positions from where he started, but looks to be on a charge. Not going to be able to put it up the inside here. Should get a nice toe.
Nothing comes easy. You have to earn every position on the track that you can. Jack Lucas coming up on the leader of the GT4s. Great job. Not losing much time on that. Now, if Mauricio can do the same, Nice job, Mauricio. Great job by Zach. Recognizing that, lifting early, it's a huge advantage from the leader, Zach Alexander. Great recognition there.
Yeah, and I think that, part of being good at being overtaken is the GT4, I think is down to pure confidence, right? I think once you start doubting yourself and where to put the car, that's when you start seeing the intra-class violence occur. And so you see right there, that's Aaron Mitchell just holding that line, just being predictable. And, Zach stayed on his line, and those two guys were able to make it through clean and easy.
Especially at this point, Justin Flagg has much more to lose, so managing that risk reward
Right.
when you make the move is a little easier when you're leading by 11 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, and and it's in the simulator, you do have the ability to jump on the microphone and tell somebody where you're going to go, but all of that is adding cognitive load and work and communication and adding effort in there, whereas driving on the racing line then will leave the GT3 driver to know exactly where he expects your car to be and adapt his line to make that happen. It's easier for the GT3 to back up entry and get a great exit because they have the power to do that. Getting some slipstream off Ben Wall, who will tuck back into the normal racing line. And that's where you can come off, right? Like in the long stretch like that, you can get off and stay out of the way. But especially through the braking zones and the turns, you want to be as predictable as possible.
Lucas and Parada still going at it.
Looks like some second pit stops coming for the GT4s. It's like Troy Nissen going in, David Wortman and James Zangi in the pits right now. Zach Alexander, Nick Aslan, and Nick Moffitt have not stopped yet. Neither has Rick Bundren, so your top four yet to stop. There he is. I was going to say, the timing showed Ian Bakaitis having Shell within a second. The BMW just hiding the Corvette behind it. It looked like Ian was by himself. I was confused for a moment. These two have been in pit lane 3 times. Mauricio back.
Mauricio's caught back up.
Yeah. Just a little bit of slide coming through there. Been 8 or 9 laps since these two guys have stopped. It's like 8 laps. Got Taylor Montague ahead. That might get a little dicey. Yeah, Mauricio just having to hold a tighter line on exit than he wants.
Heads up driving by the Chips Ahoy machine. Mauricio Prada looking on Jack Lucas. Jack Lucas has his mirrors full. The Chips Ahoy leaves the inside lane, but takes the inside on 14 and holds the spot this corner. But Mauricio Prada is going nowhere. Here's a great job. The camera's showing the ebb and the flow. You head onto a long back stretch. Yeah, Mauricio close in under braking. We'll see. He's in the draft.
Dummy
Going
to
for it.
inside.
Nice job by Jack Lucas, recognizing he's there, not risking it left. Still over 30 minutes to go.
Brian Coxon and Justin Flagg coming in.
Leaders are in. This allows this to be the race for the lead now, even temporarily, as another GT4 or GT3 comes out of the pits, I believe.
Jason Geyer there.
Geyer, that's right. Almost a lap down to the leader. GT4 traffic gonna help or hurt Mauricio's Jack. Now with the big run, GT4 definitely slowed Mauricio down. Mauricio trying to play defense as long as he can, but Jack not gonna take advantage. This corner, again, lots of racing left. Can Mauricio pull away from Jack?
Yeah, Mauricio seems to be having fun with the traffic, trying to use it as a pick,
Right.
and we'll see how Jason Geyer impacts this, because this will be
GT3.
this will be putting Jason a lap down, maybe 2 laps.
They have
down.
to- They have to pit. It will be 2 laps, but Wahlberg's already up the road. Or Flag, I mean. So, as these guys come into pit this lap, Flag will have to pit. I mean, Flag will take over the lead.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
Mauricio
Only about-
goes wide.
11.5 seconds back.
They got around Geyer. No worries. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that.
Yeah, frustrating when
Yeah.
you're still need to make the stop, and the guy you're chasing ultimately is only 11 seconds behind you,
And where your
knowing the
box
amount of
is,
time.
Mauricio.
Oh, Jack late to come in.
Oh, no. Missed it. Finding that pit, practicing your pit entry. I mean, you probably may have forgotten there's a 90-degree left right at
I
the
mean,
entry. So
He may have been thinking to continue going, but then
forgot.
realized that his
Oh,
closest competitor was in. I don't know.
Crew chief not remind you, pit in the box this time. Box, box, box. You're so into it, in the zone. Forgot the pit. All good. There's a funky 90-degree turn with the radars on both sides. So easy to overbrake yourself or underbrake. Maybe use your fast repair if you had some damage on the wall. Justin Taylor bump drafting Keegan Bahari down the backstretch. Keegan goes wide, lets him have it. Can Keegan take it back?
Looks like in practice, Justin did his best Brad Keselowski impression and gave Christopher Hopper a push that he couldn't handle. Spun them both
Jack
around.
Lucas losing a lot of time, 57 seconds in the pit lane for Jack Lucas as he finally exits.
So he must have had some repairs there.
And already used his fast repair? You have a fast repair in this league, right?
But Mauricio doesn't have a rear wing.
Whoa.
So that is, he went off after coming out of the pits.
On intricate, they have got tangled up.
I'm not sure. I mean, you think he would have had that repaired. That's not too long of a repair, but this car is not going to handle this amount of speed
especially
without.
Puhan.
Yeah.
That's the fastest place of the track.
So he's going to have to come back in. That's going to be undrivable in that situation. So unfortunate for him, but that's likely going to draw Brian Coxon and Jason Phillips into podium contention here. John Daniels in third has yet to stop a third time. So that's unfortunate. That's a heartbreaker there.
Podium spot, second and third. He rose to 0, second and third to bottom of the field. And now another pit stop to repairs.
Really brutal for both Jack Lucas and Mauricio. They really bundled their fates on that one.
Oh, that's rough.
Jason Wahlberg behind just Jason Phillips here, but Jason Phillips has taken a third stop. Jason Wahlberg has not, so he's still going to have to come in. Mauricio going to have to come in and get that rear wing, new front end, be back on his way. But now Jack Lucas will be back ahead. Unless Mauricio is able to bang through the gears, Jack welcoming him back.
Outside the top
maybe,
10.
Yeah, not going to be the finish they wanted, but at least they, found each other in the end.
Brian Coxon up 15 places from his starting spot. Going to move up to a podium. If he can hold it off, I think we still got one more pit stop. So lots of racing left, whether it's interclass battle or battling the same class. Risk reward once again tells the tale. More black flags being handed out. For Pablo Araya, unfortunately, incidents. James Zengi gets a drive through for incidents on these long races, especially. An hour is past the normal race distance.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when it's these, just the onesie twosies piling up from off tracks. Doesn't take too many before you're in trouble.
These guys know that we're all out here having fun on a Tuesday night, a work night, guys' night in the sim rig. So regardless of what happens, I'm sure Mauricio and Jack are still having fun, and they're going to continue for the next 22 minutes or so. Even if it's not for a podium, this is for bragging rights. There's Jason Wahlberg exiting pit lane. Gonna hold his position just barely. If he got tires that time for a pit stop of 17 seconds, so maybe Jason Wahlberg gonna be a victim of Jack Lucas while he warms his tires up on pit exit. Here comes Jack with GT4 traffic, who kindly pulls over. What a gentleman. And a scholar, you are. Is he gonna let the Mustang through as well? I think so. So move Jack Lucas ahead of Jason Wahlberg, and now Mauricio finds a car between him and his adversary as he pulls over to let Jesse Coffey go. Thanks, Mauricio. That's for position as well. Mauricio probably still seeing a little red mist after that. Out of Pujan, Jack Lucas, Jason Wahlberg, Jesse Coffey, Mauricio Prada for position. This is 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Everybody says hi to Christopher Hopper.
Thank you, Hopper.
This is the closest battle on track. 4 cars long. Not far behind them, Keegan Bahari lurking. Justin Thaler just up the road. They're trying to get a good run here. Really have to maximize the exits with how long these straights are. You cannot afford to be compromised. We saw Jack Lucas with Jason Wahlberg coming out of the pits. Jack with that stronger run, just able to easily take the advantage at the end of the straight here.
Prada blinking at Ron Cabiltas. Meanwhile, Jesse Coffey wants Jason Wahlberg, wants the spot. Jack Lucas goes up the road. Not yet. Jason Wahlberg going to be difficult to pass. Very, very fast driver is Jason Wahlberg. All these GT3 pros, amazing. John Daniels in a fight with Justin Thaler. And the inside, turn 13, John Daniels lets him go. That's the side of John Daniels we haven't seen. Usually he holds them hard. Maybe John can get him back in the final 18 minutes. As GT4 battle cranking up, James Zengi looking up at Taylor Montague.
Taylor getting a dip into the gravel. That's going to slow him down.
Carried a lot of speed there. There is a asphalt runoff, a lot like the one we just passed. As the GT3s go through, John Daniels on the outside, Thaler playing defense. James Zengi has to pull over to let those guys go. As we got a pit stop for
Taylor Montague going in.
Taylor, right.
Travis Rowe is in.
Jason Phillips also. All right, we're racing. Shell stays out. Justin Glickner stays out. Oh, there's Jason Phillips. Sorry, I thought I saw he was on his way out the pits. Apologies. He rejoins with Steve Hansen. Keegan Bahari getting by.
I think something happened to
Where's
him.
Jason? Yeah. Wahlberg, I mean. It's all good. I was reading timing wrong. Sorry about that.
No, you're okay. Yeah, Mauricio able to get around Jason Wahlberg. Keegan Bahari was just behind this pack, but had an incident going into turn 1. So now the roles are reversed, and Jason Wahlberg is trying to figure out how to get around Mauricio Prado.
This late in the race, almost every time we go by a corner, there's dust in the air from somebody going off the road. John Daniels now holding off Jack Lucas.
Yeah, as we start getting into summer here, we'll poor drivers will find out whether or not their sim racing room has enough ventilation.
Yeah. Yes, the heat is on high.
Drink your water during the day before your race. Steve Hansel in third now.
Get your fans blowing in all the right places that you need ventilation.
That's right.
Look at
Mark Martin has some great plans for how to set up a personal cooler for the gentleman in your life. So check that out.
Steve, looking good. I think he's due for a pit.
He needs a, yeah, he still
before
needs
the
a
race
stop.
is over.
Jason Phillips is the furthest advanced car with 4 stops.
I think he pitted as soon as he knew he can make it to the end.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on Jason Phillips. Maybe good luck rubbed his way. I gave him a high five.
The Midas touch of James Johnson.
We'll see. It's a blessing and a curse sometimes. And Steve hold off Jason Phillips, or Steve going to let him go? Steve's usually pretty aware of the race situation, knowing he's got to stop. Cheryl Hogan still has a stop to make as well.
Mm-hmm.
On board with Jason Phillips.
Yeah, I mean, all the way back to Mauricio. Mauricio has had 4 stops, but that was because Mauricio didn't have a rear wing. So, for the most part, final stops yet to come, I believe. Oh, Justin Flagg taking his, so this will be the final pit cycle. This is, I believe, the stop you'll want to push because you have a fewer, a shorter fuel fill. Brian Coxon in as well.
17 seconds was the gap. It should come out together, even if Flagg takes tires this time. Because it did not last time. We'll see.
Doesn't look
Travis
like
Rowe's still in the pits.
I think Travis is getting some sort of repairs.
Must be. Flagg is on his way out. And Coxon now on his way out. Yep, Flagg took some tires. 10 seconds the gap in the two. As Steve Hansel comes in for his stop, Jason Phillips is able to make it past.
Brings Jack Lucas back up into 5th. And we were wondering what happened. It looks like his pit lane time was almost 90 seconds for that stop. So that's definitely where that went. Mauricio back there behind David Wortman. Greg Conaway, Jason Wahlberg into the pit for the GT3s.
Brian Coxon did come out ahead of Jason Phillips.
Sure what happened there.
Jason Phillips has to hold off Gel though. the battle for the final step of the podium. It will go to the end. Can Jason Phillips hold off Shell Hogan?
Shell may still need to stop. I'm pretty sure we'll need to. Last stop was
Oh yeah, sorry. You're right.
lap 27, so coming up now on about 10 laps. That's been about the stretch. Anywhere from 9 to 11 laps.
That's right. Apologies, false alarm. Michelle being able to make it. The top 3 have made their final stop. And I believe that's it. Maybe John Daniels.
I mean, that really speaks to the speed that those 3 have had, that they have taken an additional stop.
Whole stop, yeah.
And they're still 8 seconds back from Jason Phillips to Jack Lucas. So again, Jack losing that time in repairs.
Still going to be 4th. Wow. That's huge. That says a whole lot. I think that's what the point you're trying to make with Jack Lucas and Mauricio especially.
Yeah, the speed, just crazy speed.
Pit stop.
Right.
Be 4th. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, they'll be kicking themselves that they had those mistakes.
Lighten them up in the short shoot between final 19 and 20. Here's your GT4 leader. Speaking of monster gaps.
Yeah, he's on his honeymoon here.
That's right.
Nobody.
Not quite a free pit stop, but.
Yeah. Nobody really close. Got 25 seconds to Nick Asselin, who seems to have some time on Nick Moffitt, so GT4 field spread out pretty well. Taylor Montague with a mirror full of Michael Choate. Current closest battle on track. Nobody else within a second of each other.
Glad Taylor Montague joined us. After a little hiatus. He's back. Better than ever. Get on you, Taylor. Here's Ian Bakaitis, moved up from the GT4s after winning a season. Now battling for 11th. Got Keegan Bahari on his tail. Mission 22 BMW holding off this guy. Wart Porsche. Very hard, you can be flat out. I don't know if I was talking about earlier. And headed towards the final chicane. As you can see, the BMW being the tightest, lighting them up. And out of turn 20, to start the next lap, they're going defense hard.
Yeah.
Into the source. And that's going to give Keegan a better run on the exit. Who can carry those top RPMs? Keegan might pass him through Eau Rouge, but this is going to be, if he has to lift, it's going to ruin any momentum he might have gained. Let's see how they come through Eau Rouge and then Radiac. Keegan get a good exit. Titus does, and they maintain position down the Kimmel Straight.
Yeah, it'll be okay, but you almost don't want to defend the inside on one too hard just because of how much you need that exit.
So now
This could be crucial here.
coming up on a GT4. Mauricio, I believe. They both make it through on the inside. Very Yokohama BMW paint. Black and red, a little bit of white. Or said with it, driver. Anyway, I'm a BMW fan. I'm also a Keegan Bahari fan. He tries to make a move on Ian Bakaitis.
David Wortman back there, the GT4, now up into 4th place.
Thanks, David. Nice.
So that's a good run here, and a return from family obligations to league night with the fellas.
I think he's going through some pain earlier. We saw in the chat. Hope you're glad you're feeling good enough. Not this time. Blanchimont, can you make a move? Ian Bakaitis going defense again. Smart, you don't lose too much speed if you can get the exit right here. He comes into the pits. I did not read that, sorry. Keegan Bahar is good to go. Ian Bakaitis now will be good. So move Keegan just outside the top 10.
Looks like Jack and John Daniels yet to stop. Unclear if Mauricio will need a final stop or is good to make it. But Justin Flagg should be good.
I think John Daniels, he's been going 10 laps a pit.
Yeah, he's been running the overcut. I guess with four to go,
play out 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean he's coming up on 40 laps. Last came in at 32, so he could potentially make it. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen John Daniels save an entire pit stop.
Plus 7 from his starting spot. Biggest mover though, right here, this guy, Brian Coxon, up 15 from his starting spot, and now only 8 seconds behind Flagg.
That's points paying movement as well.
Yeah, sure.
Same for David Wortman, up 11 spots. Troy Nissen up 9. Jesse Coffey up 10. Keegan Bahari up 8. Chet Miller up 7. So the retirements definitely came into play. We lost some good cars.
John Daniels going by Nick Astlin here. Nick Astlin second in the GT4s.
I believe it was just Nick's birthday. Happy birthday to Nick.
Glad he got his rig put back together. I don't know if you remember. Nicholas Astlin came up to Georgia, visited his dad, John Astlin, and made it Friday night, brought his sim gear with him so he could race Friday night, and had to race back home today after work to put his rig back together so he could make it tonight. So he almost missed Nicholas Astlin. Glad he made it. Here's James Zengi battling with Troy Nissen. Zengi's up a couple of spots as well. Good to see that. Up 8 for Troy Nissen. Taylor Montague.
Yeah, he's chasing down Hopper right now. Hopper wants to pull out, but has the second place machine of Brian Coxon coming.
This is a battle coming on the final lap for the GT4s for everybody. GT3s are going to make it this lap. Look at this. Christopher Hopper and Taylor Montague are going to race it out on the final lap. This will be fun for us and for them. Hopper with the green wheels. Here's your leader, Justin Flag. Oh, sorry.
And we got Mauricio and Steve.
And Hansel. This is for the top 5 spot. And Steve Hansel get by the GT4. There's our leader, working his way.
Just about half.
Chicane.
Just under half a lap to go, or just over half a lap to go.
This should be the final lap. Steve Hansel's got one more lap to make it. You have to work really hard to get in the top 5. I don't see it happening, but look at this. Christopher Hopper, Taylor Montague, side by side.
Taylor's going to have the inside here. Oh, just a little bump. That's going to cost Hopper.
Just a little kiss. Headed towards Puhan, turn 12. Carrying speed on the exit of here. Crucial. It looks like Taylor Montague's up the road. Hopper paid for it. 1.3 seconds in losing.
Yeah, the carrying speed and not losing it is just so crucial that just the slightest bobble is going to punish you over the run. About a quarter of a lap left for Justin Flag.
Flag to flag for Justin Flag. Pole position plus 0 positions gained. Purple lap, that's going to get him some bonus. Justin Flag missed the first couple races, but he showed up at Spa for the endurance double points. Checkered flag for Justin Flag. Brian Coxon will gain 5 bonus points as well for the most positions gained as he crosses the line in second. And third place, racing to the line, Jason Phillips as
Zach Alexander not far behind. Yeah.
Follows him through. Zach Alexander, another dominating GT4 win. Your final podium in GT3. And Zach Alexander, your winner in GT4s. Wrap it up. Good job, Zach. Nicholas Aslan, the Exalta coming through. Mauricio Prada.
Yeah, Steve not able to get the final move done.
Jack Lucas, what could have been second, comes into 8th, and JT, Justin Thaler, the CEO of Midwest Motorsports, brings the dark horse home ahead of Jesse Coffey. There's dark horse bragging rights.
Yeah, there's marketing team loves that photo.
That's right. Nice.
Keegan Bahari, 11th. Nick Moffitt coming in right there behind him for 3rd in GT4.
Great run for Moffitt. He'll be happy with that. Jason Wahlberg.
Yeah, coming in 13th here. Nick Moffitt, 3rd in GT4s. David Wortman coming back. Workman race team with the top 5. James Zangi as well. A couple seconds over Troy Nissen. Bringing it home. Rick Bundren behind Rick in 12th.
Incredible driving. All throughout the field, Brian Coxon up 15 spots to P2 after poor qualifying. Makes up for it in the McLaren GT3. And Justin Flag with flag to flag victory. waiting for Zach Alexander. Take it over, Adam.
Yeah, here are your
Yeah.
results. In the GT4 AM division, Zach Alexander compromised on practice time with the wedding, but not changing the results. You think he would be a changed man, continues his same ways. 38 seconds, almost 39 seconds over Nick Moffitt, or Nick Aslin, who had a great run himself. A little last minute work to get his rig put together, but great run from Nick Aslin as well. Nick Moffitt in third. David Wortman just coming back to the league in fourth. James Zangy, a solid run in fifth. Troy Nissen sixth. Taylor Montague seventh, holding off Chris Hopper. Michael Choate ninth. Pablo Araya 10th. Aaron Mitchell 11th, Rick Bundren 12th, Ron Kabiltes 13th, Ben Wall 14th in his first race of the league, John Aslin 15th, Skylar Wingfield 16th, Michael Harris 17th, and Denny Locke 18th. I believe we also have Dan Gish 19th. So the final 5 cars retiring today. This track did claim a decent number of cars from damage and also incident points and black flags. Justin Flagg put that McLaren on pole and never looked back. Great run from him. He had a dominant race. Justin Flagg, Brian Coxon switching to the McLaren, second place, only about 7 seconds back. So great run from Brian. Brian climbing a huge number of positions, double-digit positions gained. Jason Phillips third. Powerful run from Jason. John Daniels with another crazy save. John only taking 3 pit stops over everyone else taking 4. So John able to save an entire pit stop to ensure that top 5 chalky milk for everybody. Mauricio Prada could use some of that milk for his cookies, having to take an extra stop to get a rear wing put on that car after an incident somehow coming out after the pit cycle. So good to still hold 5th, but he and Jack Lucas will be wondering what could have been. Steve Hansel was a beast all day long, 6th place for him. Shell Hagen, 7th. Jack Lucas, 8th. Justin Thaler, another top 10 finish in 9th. Jesse Coffey, 10th. Keegan Bahari, 11th. Ian Bacaitis, 12th. Jason Wahlberg, 13th. Jason Geyer, 14th. Chet Miller, 15th. Greg Conaway, 16th. Justin Gleckner, 17th. Travis Rowe, 18th. CJ Barzak 19, Shane McNeely 20, Michael Odell 21st. I don't believe he started. So we lost a couple cars there, but that endurance races will do that. James, what do you got?
Zach Alexander, we'll start with you. Great race. Had a little scary first couple of laps there. Once the tires got warmed up, you made it back. Congratulations, Zach. Talk us through your race.
Oh, thanks so much, James. Yeah, those first couple of laps really had me kind of looking behind me, and it kind of threw me off. The tires didn't seem to be warming up quite as quick as I wanted them to. And I just wasn't in it. I was just kind of trying to run the laps, trying to keep them behind me, and I just wasn't focused too much. So I was I don't know, maybe towards the end of the first stint, I really felt I was able to get focused in and kind of just have a little bit more fun. It was a little bit easier that I didn't have guys fighting me all around, so I did have it a bit easier than the rest of them. But this is a track where you get stuck fighting somebody, you can lose seconds a lap. So it was a great time, but I got really lucky there.
4th podium of the race. So you're looking great on the points. You get double points in the for the endurance. So man, making a strong run for the title with only 5 races left. That's the major goal.
I mean, honestly, my major goal this season was to just show up to the races and have some fun. It's a bit unexpected how well I've been doing, but there's been a lot of support through the GT3 guys and a lot of the coaches really helped me out. So they've really kind of elevated my game, and it's allowed me to have a little bit more fun while also showing up. So it'd be great. It'd be a lot of fun to find myself at the end of the season at the top, but at the end of the day, I'm just enjoying it and having some fun racing with everybody.
Been a lot of fun watching you, Zach. Congratulations on a great win. Once again, we'll look for you next week at Mount Panorama. Get ready for that one.
I'm nervous, but it'll be a good one. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, Zach, on your win once again. And the overall winner, start to finish, Justin Flagg, amazing race, man. Congratulations. You have the window down and the radio up, your arm hanging out the window the last couple of laps. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, it was a good race. I know I'm dying in my office. I forgot to turn my ceiling fan on, so it's a little toasty. But yeah, I saw Brian coming up behind me, and I was thinking I made the wrong choice on tires because I only took 4 on the second stop, and then I didn't take any again because I was like, okay, I can manage these with the gap. But he started closing in real quick. Got a little worried.
Adam, what you got for our overall winner?
I mean, what else can you say? I mean, that was a strong race. It looked like the car was smooth the entire way through. Not a lot of trouble in traffic. I mean, it looked like you had pretty opportune positioning to be able to sort of come out and get some clean air to run. Anything you saw behind you that stood out? Any, sort of battles from people behind you, or were you able to sort of clear out that lead over everybody?
And the traffic.
Yeah, I guess at the start, my goal was, all right, I'm just going to push these tires to the limit, try to get, a little bit of gap so I have some breathing room so I don't have to worry about someone pulling the draft. And then once I caught the GT4 traffic, it was just kind of managing the gap between me and the GT4 traffic to where I could time it appropriately through the corner. And luckily I had a good enough lead to where I could slow down a little bit more just to, have that little pull coming out of the corner to get by those guys. So that helped a lot. But all around, it was great racing. Luckily, I didn't see any wrecks in front of me or there was some on the start, but glad I was up front and away from that.
Did the change in the tire model significantly change sort of your familiarity with the McLaren and also with the Spa circuit?
Oh, definitely. The tires are amazing now. I know that last track we raced, I had a lot of troubles keeping the rear under me. But now it's like you can feel the tire roll in the wheel, so you can feel the limit a lot more. And when you start feeling that roll or the wheel starting to let loose, to back off some.
Yeah, it looked like everybody in the GT3s was going as deep as they could on entry and exit. So feeling confident with the added grip and feel from those tires. So that's fun to see, and we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. I know the track next week, that'll be a whole nother story. It's a wall claimer, I would say. I've never finished a race at Bathurst. I think I've only raced it once, actually. So I got some learning to do.
All right. Well, James.
I was going to say, Justin, you might want to keep your eye on the league.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Oh, we may have lost him, but we will see you next week in Australia.
Sorry about that, Justin. I was going to tell you, might want to keep your eye on the Road Series driver coaching league. Maybe you get some tips from there. But after missing a couple races early, a win at Sebring, and now an endurance win with double points, you can climb up the points a little bit. A couple of races left to go. But any other goals for the season? Finish first, I guess. First, right?
I'd like to stay top 5. Try to give everybody that runs up front good competition. Obviously, Jesse Coffey, he's the one that pulled me in the league. I was just running prototypes before, so I think learning the curve for the GT3 again, so it's starting to come back. So hopefully I can compete with the guys up front.
Right on. Well, I'd say you're doing all right with that. In that fact, again, congratulations. We're glad you're here with Midwest Motorsports. Big manufacturer change for Jesse there, but I'm sure he'll tell you all about it. Great job tonight, Justin. Flag to flag victory and from the pole. Not much more you could do. Maximum points. Congratulations.
I appreciate it, guys. You guys have a good evening.
Take care.
You too.
See you next week.
All right, bye.
Justin Flagg, race winner at Spa, round 7. That's it. Adam, you got anything else before you wrap it up?
Get those fans and air conditioning units set up in your race room and get a second glass of water ready. It is summer, and there's not going to be any breaks next week at Bathurst. From flag to flag, it is going to be chaos. So get yourselves ready.
Lots of fun. Thanks, Adam, for all the Midwest Motorsports admin that make this league great. I'm James J, reminding you, stay in your lane.